Let's do this. I'm tryna be one of the greatest, and my brothers say they got me, so I spit some of the latest of this hard not life of a young black creator, of a legend to be told. You gon' watch this shit unfold.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fearless Conversations podcast. Y'all now rocking with your host, Holden Hollingsworth, and we back again with another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yeah. And y'all can reach me via email, which is contact@holdenhollingsworth.com for any inquiries, any stories you might want to tell, any advice you might need, booking and speaking events. You can reach out at that email. And if you listening right now or watching and you're not connected with me on social media, you can follow me on any social media, which is just Holden Hollingsworth on all the socials. So in this episode, man, we just really gonna talk about confidence. That's the basis of this episode. Because you watching this video, you done watched countless tutorials, you done listened to countless podcasts, you done read so many books, and you've just been sharpening your sword, and you ain't been ready to step out into the battlefield and get ready for war. You're not confident in yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because today isn't about hype. Today isn't about none of the extra bullshit. Today is about making a decision. And that one decision is going to be hard, but you got to choose your heart. Living comfortable might seem to be easy right now, but that shit going to be hard in the long run. And then grinding and being confident in yourself and believing in yourself and having that faith, that's hard too, but you got to choose your heart. So today's video, that's what we're going to get into. And in this conversation, we're going to talk about the confidence, the lack of confidence, my story of battling low confidence and how it's held me back countless years. And not only my creative journey, but just life in general. You know what I'm saying? So you've been consuming so much, but you haven't been choosing. And that's something that I got written down because we don't choose to act until either the last minute or we just completely at rock bottom and we got nothing else to lose. We got nowhere else to go but to the top. You feel me? And that confidence comes from having the faith. Having a faith in, your source, your God. It can be Jesus Christ, it can be, Yahweh, it can be Allah. Whatever your creator, whatever you believe in and your source of light come from, you have to be able to walk alongside with that. We got to stop leaning on our own understanding all the time. And we have to become grounded in something and become grounded in faith. Because faith and fear hold the same amount of weight. And you can't see either or. You can't physically hold faith. You can't physically hold fear. It's all in here. So if you want to stay average and you have no intentions of being uncomfortable and wanting to elevate and act on your dreams and goals or whatever it is you want to act on and have the confidence, you can just click right off this video, click right off this podcast and go watch Netflix or something. I don't know. But to those that's listening and you really want to lock in, you really want to get the tips and the tricks and get advice from me and how I'm locked in on my confidence on my journey, I need you to stay. And I need you to lock in. I need you to listen. And I appreciate you for wanting to stay, man. So let's get right into this conversation. Now, the thing about confidence in a lot of us that we don't realize is confidence is never, it was something that was never missing. Confidence has always been there for us since we was born, fam. Like, I remember being a kid and being in the stores with my mom and just not having a care in the world about what anybody think, acting how I want to act, touching whatever I want to touch, and just not giving a damn about what anybody got to think because you a kid. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like the confidence has always been in us, but as we grew older and as this world conditioned us and we conform to a certain way of acting because life is literally a big ass play and we all are acting out our characters. And the more we got older, you do shit. Hey, quit acting like that. You don't act like that. You don't do this. That too can, belittle our confidence in certain ways and cloud our confidence. So before you learn to self reject yourself when you was in that childhood state, you didn't give a shit about what nobody thought. You didn't care. You just acted, you just did it, and you just let your imagination flow. But as adults, we are all trying to get back to that in a way, you know. And I know I am. And I found that. Like I reignited my childhood self. I'm taking action on whatever it is I want to do now. And one of the things I wanted to do this year, or in general, was to start a podcast. And I never built up enough confidence until this year. Just be like, damn, all right, let's go all in on it. You know what I mean? So confidence is just self acceptance plus aligned action, and you get confidence. Literally, you have to become accepted of what you are, who you are, what you stand for, and walk in that stand on the 10 toes. It's like you have your own avatar in this game. You have your own character. So now you have to do what you have to do to level up this character in ways that only you can. You see what I'm saying? And then also you have to have the clarity. So once you level up your character, you accept what you have, you accept your strengths, your weaknesses, all that in one. Now you need a plan. And then you have to get that clarity from that plan. And then now you are aligned to your path and you just go and you embrace the highs and lows in this shit, but you still remain confident. And then we have desires. We got desires that we want. We got desires, things that we desire. And what all desire is energy. That's all it is. And when you desire something so fucking bad, all you doing is just suppressing that energy. And when you start suppressing that and you start telling yourself, nah, maybe I can't do that, or you might think somebody else is better than you, or you just start comparing yourself. You suppress that energy. And then that's when you start getting anxious, that anxiety start kicking in, and then that depression start kicking in because you suppressing something that you really, really desire, you really want to act on, but you talking yourself out of that shit. So a lack of expression leads to a heightened depression. That makes sense. That's why it's great to just create and just get your thoughts out there, even if you just want to journal, whatever it is you want to do. Just take small steps, but don't suppress your desires because that's just literally suppressing your own energy, and it's gonna be a negative return on your investment in yourself. And I feel like we just let the world dictate what we think, and a lot of us don't think for ourselves. A lot of people don't think for themselves. So why do we sit around worrying about what people gonna think when most people don't think for themselves anyway? If you really sit back and think about it, a lot of beliefs have been just passed down from generation to generation. A lot of ways of living have just been passed down from generation to generation without people questioning anything. like I got a story. So my cousin, he lives in Lima, but he was here in Toledo, and he got into some medical issues. And I was talking to him over the phone, giving him some words of inspiration, just chopping it up with him. And he had a story about when he was incarcerated. He was in jail, and he was talking about whooping at kids. And he used to get whooped as a kid. I think a lot of us used to get our ass beat. But he asked them, like, do y'all whoop y'all kids? He told me, like, he asked inmates and shit, like, y'all whoop y'all kids? And the inmates was like, hell yeah, I whoop my kids' ass. Like, I beat their ass. And he asked him, like, why do you whoop your kids? And they said, because my mom used to beat my ass. My dad used to beat my ass. And it's so crazy because that's how that shit go. We do a lot of shit just based off of what was done to us in our childhood. And we bring that into our adulthood, and we don't heal from a lot of things, or we just don't question a lot of shit. And that goes for tendencies, that goes for actions, that goes for religion, that goes for a lot of things that's just passed down to us. So more of that story is, I got off a little off track, but moral of that story is just how shit is just passed down to us, and we do things based off of what we were just taught to think instead of thinking for ourselves. So a lot of people don't think for themselves; they just do. You know what I'm saying? We just sit up here, we think what people gonna think, and most people ain't even thinking about shit outside of what they've been taught through books and through conditioning and through their parents. So I just want to address this shit, because the confidence that I've been dealing with, like the low confidence, has steered me away from so many opportunities. And it's not till like recent where I got out of that slump, and it was just like, damn, let me step into my main character energy. Let me quit playing, because we all living in our own universes. Everybody, 9 times out of 10, people don't care as much as you think they care, bro. Everybody got their own shit going on, man. Everybody trying to do their own shit too. You see what I'm saying? So this conversation we have today, it's gonna be it's feeling a little therapeutic for me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Feel good. So when I say we need a decision to make, we have a decision to make. That's exactly what I mean with this episode. So the decision that we need to make right now, that you need to make, fam, is you need to cut off other options. And when I say cut off other options, everything has like a opposite to it. Like it's like the law of polarity. You got this, but then that comes with it. Whatever decision you make is going to be reflected on the whole other end of the pole. So like, say for example, you got enough confidence now to go to the gym. You done worked up enough confidence to go take your ass to the gym, but now that cuts off the option of sitting your ass down on the couch and want to watch Netflix. You see what I'm saying? It's all about just one little small decision. So now you got you made the decision to become more confident in yourself after watching this damn video. That's gonna cut off the other option of you replaying and rehearsing the same fear and the same failure in your head. Everything you do is it's gonna have a reaction negatively or positively on the other side of the pole. So what I want to ask you today is, what would the future you choose to do? Starting today. And whatever that answer is that you came up with, that's how you have to start living your life. And that shit ain't gonna all be peaches and cream. It ain't gonna always be gravy. You gotta embrace the highs and the lows with this life shit. But starting this day, starting after this video, after this podcast, start moving how you want your higher self to be. Start moving how you envision yourself to be after you make this decision to just be confident in yourself completely. And I promise you, from experience, you will start moving way more different. And it ain't gonna be easy. Like I said, you gotta choose your heart. And sitting around on your ass in your own mental funk and your own repeated negative thought cycle, that shit hard too. So what you gonna do? The ball is in your court. I'm literally giving your ass the tools to go. So with that being said, I need you to pick one thing today that your future you would choose and just cut everything else off right now. Negative thinking, negative people, negative environments. And if you stuck in a negative environment, you can always go within to yourself. You got this. You know what I mean? So this like I said, this episode is straight to the point, y'all. I ain't playing no games this episode. We on episode number 5 too, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Woo! 5 weeks. 5 weeks back to back to back to back to back. Talk about consistency, man. We doing this shit, boy. I'm proud of myself. I am 5 episodes in. I'm not even thinking about where I'm gonna be 5 episodes from now. I'm taking it one episode at a time, 1 week at a time, and we getting better. That's all it's about. And if you here right now, you still listening, you still watching, you still tuned in, man, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can get that ding every time your boy drop an episode. And I gotta do better at getting my clips out. I know a lot of people been supporting, which I appreciate the support so much, But I do gotta get in a better habit, a better routine of getting my episodes clipped up because I'm doing all that myself. I don't have an editor. I don't have any of that at the moment, and it's all good. I'm gonna know how this work inside out. So when I do have a team, I do have an editor, and if something happen, I can pick up the slack and step in. You feel me? So it ain't no bad thing, but it's about the time. And a lot of times with these past couple episodes, I ain't been having the time to clip up everything how I need to. So with this episode dropping, episode 5, just be looking out for more clips throughout the week because I gotta get more disciplined and better on that aspect. But yeah, and thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening right now. I would not be here without y'all. No, I lied. I'll still be here. But no, man, I appreciate y'all for having this conversation today with me. But yeah, we got to hop back to the episode. I mean, to the conversation today. We got another couple other topics regarding just the confidence because we just gonna focus this episode strictly on confidence and taking action. So this confidence that's within us, I like comparing it to the sun. I love it. I love comparing it to the sun because the confidence is literally your light within, right? And you use that light to shed it to the world and, you know, impact the world in a positive way. Because I'm just gonna assume that you listening and watching it is a good person, a morally good person. So with the confidence being your sun and your light, that confidence over the years it get blocked by clouds, you know. So your confidence is not that you lost your confidence. The confidence has always been there and it's gonna still be there, but it's blocked by the clouds. And the clouds that's blocking it is the limited beliefs that you have within yourself. The comparison that you keep comparing yourself to other people. The borrowed opinions. The constant shame that you give yourself because you don't give yourself enough grace and you too focus on the negatives that you have and not your strengths. that is what the clouds are made up of. That's blocking your goddamn light. That's blocking the confidence within, because the confidence is still there, but it can't shine through those damn clouds that you have gained and formed over these years due to just habits and the way of thinking of yourself. Because right now we're just gonna focus on accountability. I'm not blaming the damn system. I'm not blaming the government. I'm not blaming the music we listening to. I'm not blaming the white man. I'm not blaming none of that shit. You know, could those be factors into why we think the way we think? Absolutely. But right now, the confidence that you have is still in you, but due to us as humans and people ourselves, we've been blocking that shit with these clouds. So most people, they project their own limitations on other people. You know, because I'm gonna be frank and honest. A lot of motherfuckers walking around here is miserable as fuck, especially where I'm from. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I'm from the Midwest, and this is not to put a damper on the Midwest. I believe the Midwest is a great region. You know, I love where I'm from, but not even just where I'm from. Like the world in general, a lot of motherfuckers is miserable. A lot of people are miserable. They project their own limitations on other people, which in turn, a lot of people are affected by that energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so good to protect your energy and to really lock in on yourself and know yourself and know what and be confident in what you want to do, because you start renting from those people beliefs. You start taking those beliefs to them, like, damn, you know, you might be right or she might be right. Man, fuck that. They telling you this shit because they limiting themselves and they don't believe that you got the power to go and do what they can't do. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of motherfuckers is miserable. So I say all that to say, like, a lot of times we can let outside noise dictate our moves and our confidence and certain things that we want to do, which I've helped dealt with that. You know what I mean? In my own journey. But on the flip side of the coin, when you got the negative shit, when I talk about comparison, because as humans and shit, we it's human nature to compare yourself. I'm not gonna say, hey, stop comparing yourself, like, but when you do compare yourself or whatever, somebody else that's shining right now doesn't dim your light. Somebody else that you see right now that you've been giving props to, they making the moves, they doing what they gotta do. That don't dim your light. That don't mean that they better than you. That don't mean any of that shit. Because a lot of times we don't know what those quote unquote successful people had to go through to get to the point that they're at. We don't know their journey. That's their own respectable journey. So just because somebody else is at a certain level that you know, you inspire you inspire to be like get to, just because they up there don't mean that you gotta dim your own light, fam. Don't mean that you gotta think anybody else is above you or better than you, because we don't know what the hell that they had to go through. We don't know what road they had to take to get to where they at. So like that's the flip side of the coin too. You see what I'm saying? You can project your success by, projecting success for other people. And a lot of people don't think like that because, like I said, a lot of people are fucking miserable. But just know that, if you clapping and giving people props, you can project their success and your success also. You know, you can clap until it's your turn, but right now you are in a season where you need to clap for your damn self. We've been clapping for other people for way too long. Clap for you now. Clap for yourself, goddammit. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I've been cooking this episode, y'all. I've been cooking this episode. I ain't gonna lie. This is like I said, this is a very straight to the point conversation episode today, man. It might not be as long because I came in with just this topic on my mind today and on my spirit. So And before we leave, I have a couple more topics, but I do want to give y'all a plan. That I've used personally, and I feel like it can help other people with this value. So I call it the higher self protocol. And you could do this plan within like a weekend. Most people have like their weekends. So this is what we're gonna do. I need you to sit in silence and get you a journal. And I say get you a journal, write on some paper, because you ain't stop using your notes so much. Stop using ChatGPT so much, because they like literally harvesting our ideas, our thoughts, our minds and shit. So sometimes we need to just hit the pen and paper. Everything ain't gotta be digital. So just want to get that out there. So get your ass a piece of paper, a journal, whatever. Get you a pen, and this is what we're gonna do. Number one, you're gonna write down, what do I not want in 1 to 5 years. That's number one. Then the next thing you're gonna write is, what do I actually want with no limits. And then number three, you're gonna write, what would the future me do today to get what I actually want with no limits. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna allow you to do something called an identity rehearsal, where you can now act, think, and speak like that person that you want to transform into for 7 days, all while using these three prompts. And what this is also, referred to me, that I call it, is the anti vision. Because sometimes when we really don't know what we want, we need to focus on what we don't want, and that'll give us clarity to be like, all right, yeah, okay, this is what I want. So that's why I started with, what do I not want, for that first prompt. You see what I'm saying? Because you got shit that you don't want to be like. I don't want to be like my Uncle Fred and them on crack and shit. Like, I don't want that shit for me. Like, I don't. um. So what you do is, you take these three prompts, you rehearse this shit, you do this shit, and you start moving and acting as if you are already that person, and you will manifest everything that you desire, all while taking the action and being this person. It's just spiritual. It's just all mental, and that's why I wanted to give you those three prompts, because this has helped me, even recently to this day, transform into who I am. This ain't no overnight thing. This should take work. But we live in a society where everything is just so instant, and instant gratification is at an all-time high. Everybody want results like this, right there. So this should help you. I ain't gonna hold you. This should help you. You write down those thoughts, those prompts, and you just act on that shit, and you will start seeing progress. I promise. It might not be anything tangible or material at the moment, but mentally and spiritually, you're gonna feel more confident in yourself. That's the whole damn point. You can go talk to that girlfriend. Yeah. You can go speak to that pretty girl that you scared to speak to. You can go for that job that you scared to apply to. You can start that business that you've been thinking about starting. You can start that hobby that you've been thinking about picking up. You know, only thing that's holding you back literally is yourself. So act as if you already got it. Like, so we're gonna do a quick recap of everything today in this episode. And like I said, if you're still here, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for still listening. Thank you for still being here. I appreciate you. Your attention could be anywhere else right now. So for you rocking with your boy right now, I definitely appreciate it, man. So like with the recap, you can't contribute to the world with suppression. Stop suppressing yourself. Creation is a service. We are all creators at heart. We are all tapped in with the creator. We all have the makeup of the creator. Stop suppressing that shit. Suppression turns into depression. You need to create. The more you create, the more you'll have clarity. You see what I'm saying? Stop suppressing your confidence. Because if you're not confident in what you do, you're never gonna go far. You can't get that far thinking average. Okay. And I just want to say one thing. It just popped in my head. My neighbor probably gonna see this. So my neighbor, I seen him outside with another neighbor of ours, and he was like, "Man, dude, I seen your podcast, bro. Like, I subscribed to your YouTube and everything. Like, man, you got the voice for it, bro. Like, you really doing it. I'm proud of you." And I was like, man, I appreciate it. I'm very humble, by the way. So I don't take my small wins from others. I don't let it really get to my ego. I just kind of I say downplay it, but anyways, he like, man, no, I like what you're doing, bro. And then the other neighbor, she asks, like, what is it that you do? What's your podcast about? And I'm not gonna lie, I was not confident in saying to her what my podcast really was, because I went off assuming that she might not like it or might not be into it because of who she is on the outside. Like, 'cause she's a white woman, and he's a white guy too, but she's a white woman, and I just projected in my mind, and I wasn't confident in what it is I do with the podcast. So I was just like, man, my podcast is good. It's, a little self help, little this and that. Um, but I wasn't direct with what it is I do. And then I went back in the house, whatever, continue with my day. And I didn't really peep. I didn't even peep game that I wasn't, that confident. I was just telling her, but looking back, I was like, damn, I wasn't confident. So my neighbor that originally, shouted me out and, gave me my props, he was like, he seen me the next day and was like, bro, why did you do that? When she asked what your podcast was about. And I'm like, what you talking about? Because I ain't gonna cap. I did try to downplay it when he told me, because I'm like, I already knew what he was saying, but he a real one for pointing it out. Like, it made me do some reflection too. And he was like, man, you was not confident and what you was, telling her what the podcast was about. And I'm like, damn, bro, you right. You right. He like, man, if you gonna do this shit, go all in. That's how you sell it. Be confident in what you do. And I'm like, damn, I needed this. God and the universe send you shit that you need. And I appreciate him for bringing that to my attention, man. So my neighbor, if you watching this, I ain't gonna put your name out there, my boy, but you already know, man. I appreciate that. But the objective with that story, like why I wanted to share that is because it gives me a little transparency too. Like, I'm still working on my confidence to this day. But when you lock in on that and you are open minded, sky is no limit. Once you become fearless, life become limitless, man. So yeah, I love this though. I really love this space. I love what I do, and I'm more confident in what I do with the podcast. And this episode was just very, very straight to the point, y'all. Like, I think I'm gonna start doing a little more episodes like this as well. So I want to leave y'all with a fearless challenge. I'm gonna leave y'all with a fearless challenge that I came up with, and then we can get up out of here today. So what we're gonna do is a 7-day 7-day challenge. So what we're gonna do is, it kind of ties back to the 3 prompts. It starts with the anti-vision, and you write that anti-vision, which is the day 1, which is today, or whenever you do write those 3 things, what you don't want and how you need to move. Every day after that is gonna be a total of 7 days. You need to write down one visible action that you did for that day and what your future self would be proud of. So we need to write and reflect every day. Write down one action that you took and you was very confident in, or you took an action and you did something that you normally wouldn't do on a regular day. And that's how we'll start seeing our growth. That's how we'll be able to keep track of our small wins. And that'll keep us from not just talking out of our ass. Like I said, you don't watch too many videos. You don't watch too many podcasts. You didn't read too many books, bro. It's time to get in the field, because that shit just mental masturbation. You just going in the same loop. You will feel good and you want to start, and then you start and you stop, and then you stick into the mood and not the purpose, and not the why on why you really want to do it, because you're talking yourself out of it, or you just not confident. So that 7-day fearless challenge will give you the clarity and will give you the actual tangible vision that, okay, I'm doing this shit. I'm taking the action that I need to take. And that's it. Like, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate y'all. If y'all still watching and y'all still listening, thank you for being here. I am working on my own program. It's called the Fearless Focus Program. I want to get that seed planted with y'all. I don't know if I know that mentioned it on the podcast yet. So it is a program that I am wrapping up and will be launching within the next week. I ain't gonna say week, because we still got some stuff we got to do within the next 1 to 3 months, within that time frame. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want more information on that, hit the link in my bio, or just go to holdenhollingsworth.com and you can sign up for any future clarity calls when it comes to Fearless Focus and the Fearless Focus program. But it's been a pleasure speaking to y'all today. I had a good conversation with y'all, and I hope y'all took this conversation and got something from it, and you become more confident in who you are. Be more confident in who you are. You are equipped with everything you need, but you've been playing with your own potential this long because you're too busy comparing yourself and worrying about what others are doing and what they're going to think, and not worried about you and clapping for yourself and celebrating yourself and being confident in what you want to do and who you are. So let's start removing those clouds and let that sunlight shine through, and let your light, let your vessel be a light for the world in a positive way. It's been a pleasure. It's your host, Holden Hollingsworth. I'll see y'all next week on episode number 6. Take care of yourself, man. Be safe out there. Protect your energy. First and foremost, protect your energy. Keep being fearless. And once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. Let's get it.